In some ways, it's very easy to deceive people, and it happens every day in every part of life. People are tricked for good and bad reasons. But to do that with media, it's not necessarily easy. Well, yeah, the work I'm presenting is called Dislocation at this exhibition. When I develop the work, what I like about it is setting up a system, but then not really knowing what will happen with the audience once they become an active part of the work. So the way I set it up was just having these short situations occur in the room with you. Quite a big range. There's about 100 different variations of things that happen in the space, the virtual elements that occur with you. Depending on the situation, it would encourage different responses from the audience. So maybe you might get a bit anxious, might make you laugh. So they're all just tiny little scenarios with people that occur. So that was the idea broadly, very basic, setting up this thing, but then after that, depending on how the audience reacts to the work, it becomes very playful. The audience starts playing with the different avatars or characters in the space, so it's performative. All sorts of different things begin to occur within the space. So I'm quite, even though I had a few things in mind when I developed it, I just like really seeing what happens, you know, and it's more interesting to me the unexpected outcomes of when people start experiencing the work. The reason why the screens ended up like that there were a couple of reasons. One, it encloses people's perceptions a bit. So by peeping in like that, you lose some of your peripheral vision and you're more focused on the mediated content, the image. You're focused on the screen and less focused on the real world. So when you see the virtual avatars or computer characters in the screen with you, that's more your reality, so you think it's more real. The other reason is to look down into the screen and look over like that, you have to be quite close to the screen, so it was a way to control where people were standing in the room, because I want people to be at the front so the characters can be behind them and have some space to walk around. So it was a sort of design reason. And is there any other reason? They were the main ones, really. And it's just a strange perspective to see yourself from looking into the screen with the camera behind you, so you just see your back. It's a bit unusual. I've also been doing a lot of research into magic, you know, like stage magic, and magicians and how magicians create illusions, and the psychology of misdirection and how magic can be, or those ideas can work with art or media art also. So, yes. I don't know why I'm interested in it. That's a good question. I just am, to say. I think ultimately it people often question, there's usually this moment of surprise where you think the character is real or the person in the room is real, but they're not. And people usually look over their shoulders or do something like that to check. But I think ultimately that makes people maybe question with media what might be true or what might be false. And I think that's an interesting point too. People assume a lot of media we experience now is all authentic and truthful, but it's not necessarily.